which one do I focus on?
This one is for all of you, white. So you and Justice, you focus on this
Okay.
one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome to another edition of our weekly Peace Talk Show. This is the show that is brought to you to discuss on issues surrounding our national peace and security. You're watching us live online, Fathom Network at Kairaba Avenue. Today also is another important day in the life of the Peace Talk Show. We have some great people who are from CA, that is Citizens Alliance, that is their spokesperson, and we also have NPP, that is their spokesperson, and GDC, the assistant spokesperson of GDC. They join us live online on Peace Talk Show today, on Peace Talk Show, to discuss on issues surrounding our national peace and security. To start with the Honorable Mr. Governor, you're welcome to the Peace Talk Show.
Thank you.
Yes, and you can share your impression with our audience.
Thank you very much, Fatu Network, and thank you very much, Mr. Jallo.
Thank you.
I feel humbled to respond to your call here to be invited in this very important program.
Thank you.
To the audience near and far, I salute you all with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much. He is Lamin Queen Jemme. He is the spokesperson of NPP, National People's Party, former governor, NBR, a veteran for that matter. And also a bright lady beside us here. She is Nene Freda Gomez, the spokesperson of CA, Citizens Alliance. Madam, you may share your impression with the audience.
Thank you very much, Alassana. I am humbled and very, very thrilled to be here this morning. But can I respectfully make one correction?
Okay.
I am the only woman holding the position of communications director in the whole country among 18, 19 political parties. So as such, I want to own this title. So I always tell journalists, I tell everybody else to address me spokeswoman instead of spokesperson.
Okay.
Because, I'm representing all women. I'm representing all young ladies.
Oh, okay.
So I want to own this title on behalf of all of them.
Okay.
So I'll prefer spokeswoman.
Okay.
So that when you say that, it relates.
Okay.
I want to own it, and it just tells you who the person is.
No problem.
Okay. But anyway, that was just on a lighter note. Thank you very much for inviting me. And my reaction on the show, I think the show is apt, the show is timely. Peace advocacy is everybody's responsibility. It's everybody's business. Because without peace, nothing can happen, nothing can prevail. So it's the beginning of everything that we do. And of course, in this year that we are in, 2021, we're in August, heading to December elections, it's very, very important that everybody advocates for peace, everybody preaches peace, everybody practices peace, not only talk about it. So definitely I applaud you for this brilliant and bold step in taking to bring people together. And of course, us coming from different political parties, sitting here to talk about peace. I think we should not only talk it here, when we go out there, we need to live it. We need to show that we mean it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the eloquent spokeswoman.
Thank you.
And our able assistant spokesperson of GDC, who is also Honorable Hamidou Jallo. Hamidou, I hope I pronounced your name well.
Exactly.
Yes, you're welcome to the Peace Talk Show, and you may share your impression with the audience.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo.
Thank you.
First of all, before I say anything, let me extend the apology of my boss, that is the spokesperson for GDC, Honorable Umar Sise, who would have loved to be here. Well, unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond his control, he was not able to make it. And he delegated me to come and represent him and represent the GDC party.
Thank you.
But as my colleague just rightly said, I mean, this is timely. And this is advocacy we need to showcase every day in our daily activities, because we are heading to a very crucial moment, and that is the presidential election. And then looking at the atmosphere, to be honest with you, let us all be realistic, is fragile. Seeing the messages that are coming out. So having platforms like this, I think that will help. Showcase the peace that we're known for, and then also make sure that you sensitize, especially my category, that's the youth, who are always the most vulnerable group, and also the ladies, the women. So I think this time.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jallo. The topic today is role of political parties in ensuring peaceful elections. As I was discussing with somebody, a very prominent figure this morning, I told him that all political parties in this country have one objective. What is that objective? That objective of developing this country. None of them is having a contradictory objective, that is to develop themselves or to develop their families or whatsoever. So in their different endeavors, they look towards the Gambia. That's why they form political parties, and that is why they are allowed. So the reason why these people are seated here today is to tell the various sympathizers or those that are affiliated to the different political parties that politics is not about life and death. That the various political leaders sit on forums like this to talk to their various sympathizers and followers. So what we are communicating to you is that do not bring boundaries or hatred between you and somebody in a different political party. Let's welcome them. Let's try to encourage them, and let's try to influence them. Honorable, coming to you first. What is NPP doing to ensure that the 2021 December polls is peaceful?
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Jallo.
Welcome.
Before going into what NPP's preparations are, I want to share some opinions with the audience on the importance of the very salient topic being discussed, which is peace. Every Gambian should make it a responsibility on himself or herself to ensure that this peace of this country continues to be. At the time of independence, historical facts can show that the two most important assets that the Gambia had to go into independence, one was the peaceful nature of the people. And the second one was the determination of the people to be independent. So if that was an important factor that had brought us to this status, we must all admire this, cherish it, and know that it's the fundamental bond that qualifies our independence. Other than that, I want to cite also the teachings of Sadauda Kairaba Jawara when he was talking about peace, and I quote, he said in his book Kairaba that it is important for everyone to realize that a nation's peace, a continent's peace, the world's peace takes its source from the peace in the individual. That it is only when people are at peace with themselves that they can share it with their neighbors. For one can certainly not give what one doesn't have. One has to have peace to be able to give peace. One has to have a democratic spirit in order to live democracy. He went further to say a lot of things that was meant to enlighten Gambians to admire and accept the value of peace in every society, especially a small one like the Gambia. With us in NPP, we strongly believe that the fundamental doctrine to sustain peace is to be democratic. And this is one reason why our party leader, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, is known to be a Democrat internally and externally, who depends on the rule of law for the governance of the state, manifested in a lot of areas. Internally, as a party, we believe that peace it is a necessary condition to be contained in the laws. But it is a sufficient condition to be the characteristics of a people that the laws can only contain. But for real peace to prevail, it must be part of the characteristics of the people. Characters beginning from how we relate with one another, beginning from the language one speaks, because language is an important humanizing force of man. So that it is your character in language, your character in your spoken language, your conduct in your behavior that explains how peaceful you are as an individual. And strongly, I will refer to President Sadauda Kairaba Jawara to remind every Gambian that peace is not an external qualification, rather it is an internal entity in the person.
Wonderful, wonderful. Once you have a veteran, you will always have a veteran. And I think that's a learning point. We were hoping to pick from the NPP's perspective, but he has led us back to independence era. Our bright spokeswoman, am I right?
You got that right.
Yes. What is CA doing to ensure the elections are peaceful?
Well, thank you very much, and I thank you for that very, very apt question. I want to agree to some extent with my honorable here. It seems like he was really reading my mind because I wanted to start with, when we talk about peace, it's innate. It has to be inside. What you don't have, you don't give. And I really agree 100% with that. So that being said, I think whatever we say, we really need to mean it. And at the level of Citizens Alliance, we are barely 2 years. And one of the principles that formed us, it's also peace building. Because Citizens Alliance was born out of necessity. We didn't feel we have time in ourselves and we just want to come together and kiki and jolly and have fun. We recognize the undesirable state of the country. And we realize we are people, we are individuals, we are Gambians that have the interests of the country at heart. And we don't want to sit in our corners and talk about it and criticize, whether constructively or destructively, but we want to contribute our part. We want to contribute our quota. We came together. That's why I always emphasize that we were born out of necessity. And that was to salvage the undesirable state of this country, to restore hope and dignity. Because again, I don't have to go back to history because I don't think anybody has forgotten where we are from. It's too early to forget. But a lot of people, a great number of people have lost hope. Our dignity has been mortgaged. And somebody needed to come to salvage the citizenry. And that is why Citizens Alliance came into existence. And since we came into existence, I can proudly say the first political party to be registered and extend an olive branch to other political parties, not to take them as oppositions, but partners in development, and visited almost all political parties to have a dialogue with them to say we are a new party, but these are our policies, this is our aim, this is our agenda. We have come not to compete. Of course we will compete in ideas, in policies, because that is what differentiates us. But as individuals, the common denominator here is Gambia and Gambians, and that is what we care about. So we've preached that since our inception, and we do that. And we don't believe in politics of identity. I mean, identity or personality. We believe in politics of
we will
issues.
Come to that. We will
so
come
that is what we create, and all boils down to peace building, and walking the talk.
Thank you very much. You know, today I have a big problem. When you have spokespersons and spokeswoman, you know, it's always a problem. Honorable.
Yes.
In 2016, there is no doubt that GDC was commended as the most peaceful political group or political party. Do you still maintain your reputation?
Of course. I mean, if you follow the activities of GDC, you will realize that the values and principles that we are known for. from 2016 to date. We try to maintain it, and then of course, we are confronted with a lot of issues, but we make sure that we continue with desensitization, especially to talking to our supporters. And that is our party leader, if you remember well, about 2 months ago, when they were information circulating within the media houses or social media per se, he come out strongly and condemn it and task the political party leaders to talk to their supporters and maintain the peace that Gambia is known for. And that is just to tell you, every political party leader has a responsibility here. And the responsibility is mind the language you release out there, especially talking to the media, because there are people that believe you, there are people that believe your values, your principles. Once you say something, especially when you are dealing with a country that we are all aware that we have almost 53% of youths, you have to also make sure that you inculcate that mindset in them and make sure that they have that peace mindset so that at least they can also contribute to development in society. And that I challenge every other political party leader. It doesn't necessarily mean we just have to say it, but in practice, it has to be there. And that is what GDC is known for, and we are maintaining that value, and we work very hard to earn that, and we don't want any supporter who will be part of GDC.
In fact, I am coming there. How do you manage to comport and coordinate your activities peacefully?
Actually, we are governed by the rules and the principles of the party. And GDC is set up with those values I just mentioned now. And anyone who is part of us, we make sure that you adhere to those rules and regulations if you want to be part of us. Honorable Mama Kande doesn't mind to lose a supporter because of behavioral issues. If you want to go out there and then behave otherwise, that is not in conformity with the rules and regulations of the party, we wouldn't mind to lose that vote, because that is what maintains the Gambia. That is what we're known for. And there's no party leader who would like to rule a country of violence. We want, when GDC is in government, we have a peace society so that at least we can also contribute to the development.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Let me come to CA. CA is a young party, but not as young as people think. Yes. How are you ensuring that the political arena of this country is changed or influenced to politics of ideas instead of politics of hatred and hostilities?
Oh, I love that question, Alassana. You're really speaking to CA. I mean, the record speaks for itself. I mean, not only our members who are sympathizers, anybody that has been following CA since its inception, we have emerged to do politics in a different way. And when I say we do politics of issues, politics of ideas, politics of agenda, we really do that, and we practice it. Looking from when we got registered in November 2019 to when we went to Congress, I mean, I stand to be corrected. I think our processes were very, very transparent. If I'm tempted to say the most transparent when we looked at all congresses that happened within all political parties. The first to publish nominations, call for nominations, publish nominated members, publish elected members. It was all in conformity with rules and best standard and regulation. Moving along from that, what we did in coming up with our manifesto, we toured the length and breadth of the country, consulted different subject expert, people, consulted the students, the market women, the nurses, the doctors, everybody that has a stake in this country, to say, how would you want this country to be? Who would you want your leader to be? What kind of a leader are you looking at? How would you want the country to be governed? And then everybody gave their take or what they wanted. That was put all together, and then a manifesto was developed out of it. And that's why CA calls its manifesto the contract with the people, because this is the people we're going to govern. This is not a document for CA or CA members, it's a document for Gambia. Moving along from that, we went ahead and published it. CA is the party that has committed itself to have monthly press conference, and since CS inception, we have been able to keep to that without fail. To talk to the people, we have been very transparent and we subject ourselves to accountability. We improve as we go because we've been scrutinized so much because our business is out there. We're not hiding anything. Again, just 2 weeks ago, we developed what we call 10-point promise. Again, engaging the people. We consulted expert people to come for us to diagnose the issues, the problems of the country, and provide solutions as a way forward. So, to be honest, I think this is first of its kind, the way we do politics. We're particularly very, very much interested on the plight of the citizenry and way forward to solve their issues.
That's great. That's great. Coming to Honorable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Honorable. NPP, how different do you educate your sympathizers or your electorate on ethos and ethics and values which are in line with principles of peace?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo, once again.
Thank you.
After thanking you, I think I will thank technology for this age.
Okay.
That differently, technology has made a lot of things very easy and possible. NPP as a political institution has fully developed its party and all the integral components of the party. Each component has a functional value for which it has been formed. There is the media and communication component. We intend also establishing a membership education activity within that component. But in the meantime, essentially what is important for mention here is that we are constantly at intermittent periods communicating with our membership across the board through those structural representations, the committees. From time to time, where necessary and necessitated by circumstances, we also issue out press releases where it is important to urgently inform members of burning issues, developing issues. So that the objective of the NPP as a political institution is to inculcate, firstly, that understanding in the membership. That, as somebody said here, the common denominator is the Gambia, and that for every development to happen, which is the watchword of NPP, the slogan of NPP, Yiriwa, is development. But for development to happen, it must be hosted by a peaceful environment. And therefore, peace building, the maintenance of peace, the management of peace is a fundamental responsibility and desire in the NPP.
Yes. Coming back to you still, how do you conduct yourself when you are on political platforms? Like, when your people are about to speak on platforms, do you brief them to codify their statement? Or some of your officials, because it is becoming rampant in the country where sometimes people will use loose language or language that are not informal, and then people will start criticizing on the media. Do you always try to look at those issues?
It is not necessarily per every political rally that you will have to conduct an orientation sort of. Rather, it is a general program within the party that when committees are being met, members are reminded of the fundamental values of the party. Among them, core is peace. And therefore, because each one of them would serve as an ambassador of the party, their conduct, their language, and everything must be in conformity with the expectation of society. All right? However, in a social grouping, the larger the group, the greater the challenge for the managers. The smaller the group, the easier it is for the managers to manage. And because NPP is becoming a giant, rapidly growing party in numbers, which is being desired in every corner of this country, all because of the development slogan and the development that it is bringing to the people, meaningfully impacting positively on their lives. Everybody tends to come. And in that way, it is imposing a lot of challenge on the leadership of the party. But we are trying everything possible to understand, to make members understand that there is nobody more democratic than President Adama Barrow, who accepts the rule of law as the fundamental doctrine for the governance of the state, tested by a lot of court cases.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I hope that also when people speak unfortunate language on platforms, they will be given necessary counseling that, you know, politics is not about insulting or, you know, directing some sentimental remarks against others. But coming to CA, Madam Spokeswoman, how is CA conducting themselves on political platforms? Because this is a very important question that needs to be directed to all political parties, you know, to gauge them, you know, to, you know, engage them so that we know their level of preparation in this, you know, very crucial issue. Because it's on political platforms that all kind of statements are released. And as one popular scholar said, he said, a word is like a release bullet. So what is CA doing? You know, how do you conduct yourself on political platforms?
It's very, very apparent. I mean, and again, the Honorable said it here, with the age of technology, you know, innovation, and with social media now, you know, you can barely do something and go scot-free on, or somebody doesn't notice it. So the records are there, you know, and the level of CA. For us, what we do is our membership, they're very, very important and dear to us. We value them so much because without them, there is no Citizens Alliance. So as such, once you become a member, CA has something we call Citizens Alliance Leadership Academy. And we've already certificated our third cohort. What we do is on a monthly basis, young people, youth members, we bring them together, teach them the mission and vision of Citizens Alliance, the principles, the values, what is expected of a member of a Citizens Alliance. So it's not a matter of I don't know. Yes, we cannot reach everybody else, but this is ongoing on a monthly basis. So these are all geared towards trying to tell our members, a Citizens Alliance member should be this way, should be disciplined, should be principled, should be truthful, should be honest, should be loving, and should be caring, and should have love for country. That is what builds Citizens Alliance. So we do that to our members. And of course, we've not had instances of members going there and behave in a unruly manner. Here and there, they make utterances that may be offensive to one individual or another. You know, again, certain things, utterances are a matter of perception. You might deem something to be offensive, somebody might deem it not to be offensive. But there are certain utterances we need not debate over it. It is outright wrong, it is outright improper. And those ones should really need to be condemned in its entirety and in its totality. So Citizens Alliance, we're very, very serious about it. And when members behave in certain ways, definitely they are called in forthwith, immediately, and caution and say, this is not a Citizens Alliance way, and this is not the way you have to do it. But coming back to it, I mean, talk is cheap, but then what we say needs to be something that can be fact-checked or something can be referenced to. We're all political parties and we're in existence. And I think everything starts from the leadership. I always emphasize and say if a leader stands and speaks in a certain manner, and be consistent, the followers will follow suit. You may have one or two that may deviate from, you know, down the line, because again, we are all different from different walks of life. But when that happens, you can easily spot it out and put them in their place. You know, like my American people will say, certain things happen, you nip it in the bud. You don't let it go. So somebody else will not do it. But then when things happen, you let it slide. Things happen, you let it slide. We need to advance from politics of personality. When you see a leader stand on a political platform, not talk about issues, agendas, but talk about a personality, what do you expect your supporters to do? And that is what needs to stop, okay? When we talk about peace, I mean, truthfulness is a recipe for peace. Honesty is a recipe of peace. But when you lie, you're trying to tell your people, you know, it brings about dissatisfaction, frustration, and that jeopardizes peace. So we really, really need to be honest and truthful and be able to hold ourselves to account so that our supporters can follow suit.
That is wonderful. Coming to GDC.
Yes.
You know, I always have this impression on GDC because in 2016, you know, people said GDC is the most peaceful political party. But I still want to engage you by asking you, how do you address conflicts when they come within or outside your political party?
Okay, thank you so much. Before answering that question, I just want to add to what my sister was saying when it comes to the peace and values of every political party or how you are expected to behave. In GDC, we have what we call code of conduct that we make sure we share to our supporters and our members, especially from the leadership, that this is the way we expect a supporter of GDC to behave at any platform, at any given time. And I can give you one example of that. I was invited to a program and then asked to give a statement. But I make it very clear. My statement here does not represent the position of the party because I was trying to avoid making any mistake that will jeopardize these values and principles of the party. So, and I expect every other party member, especially at the senior executive level, to behave that way, as he just said, because once you utter certain language, the ordinary supporter will think that what you are doing is right, and then he will use that and go further, cause more damage, more chaos in society. And that has to be condemned at any given time. And going back to your question, I mean, at GDC we have different units. And we have what we call the Council of Elders. And part of their TOR, that is their term of reference and their responsibility is to mitigate problems when it arises. We understand that at some point you might not be able to solve all problems, but you can reduce it to the minimal. And that's what we assign that unit to deal with, and they are doing very well. And they're not only doing it alone, but they are supported by the religious leaders unit. We also have those two units working together because that also corresponds to our culture and our traditions, because we are all from societies or communities. And in our communities, if you see the way we solve problems, the early days, and those are the best practices that we copy from, is when there is a problem, we also use the elderly people within us to bring those people that are responsible together and then see how best you can address that issue. So that is one best practice that I can share with my colleagues to see how best they can also use it in their political party. If they don't have it, if they have it, fine.
I'm sure they have it. Going to you,
I like the disclaimer, if they don't have it.
The veteran governor.
Now,
I want to ask you this deliberate question.
okay.
If NPP lose election, or if you lose election, how will you react?
Building, inculcating a democratic spirit in one's people prepares them for the possibility of any outcome in any election. Once you are democratically spirited, you not only accept but admire the outcome of any truly democratic process. So NPP as a political party is ready to accept the outcome of any elections. Let there be no doubt about that. Yes.
That's great. Madam spokeswoman, if you lost the presidential election, how will you react as a new political party?
And like you said, if you lose, but I want to tell you that we believe vehemently, we believe strongly that we're going to win the elections come 2021. But if it turns out to be otherwise, definitely, I mean, there are factors. If it becomes a free and fair election, transparent election, we will accept and support whoever the Gambian people elect. But if it's not a free and fair elections and there there is reasonable doubt that it was not free, it was not transparent, and it was not free, definitely we will test the courts, because we believe in the rule of law, we believe in our justice system, and we will be able to use that to test it and challenge it to any level.
When elections are not fair, people perceive that elections are not free or fair or transparent, they take to the streets or using arms or vandalizing. Will you subscribe to that?
Oh, absolutely not. That's why I mentioned none of that. I said if there is, we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that it was not a free, fair, and transparent election, then definitely we believe in the rule of law. We believe strongly in our justice system, and we will use it to make sure that justice prevails. That's what we will do as a citizen, at the level of Citizens Alliance. Yes.
She said something very important, that is the Madam Spokeswoman. Yes. She said when CA came to being, they made some outreach to various political parties. But as a political party also, GDC, what kind of relationship do you have with all other political parties?
Of course, it's cordial. We have very strong cordial relationship with other political parties. Because what is different there is the manifesto. And that is the program and policies. But we are all Gambians at the end of the day. And after politics, we go back to the communities and share our social interaction and social coexistence. So that is obvious. So we have that strong cordial relationship with all other political parties. But coming back to the topic that was discussed before your discussion, it's about the results, outcome of the election. Actually, it's very important. And I think we need to discuss about that and open it up.
Okay.
Yes, because you see, there are elements in elections that we need to make sure we address before the actual election. And that is, I mean, I will use this opportunity to advise or to suggest to IEC to make sure that we go by the rule of law and make sure that government officials should not be part of politics, and they should not use also government resources to run party programs. Let us avoid that, because those are some of the issues that were happening, and it now becomes a problem to us. And with the 2021 generation, I think we have to consider that and see how best IEC will work on that and try to avoid a similar occurrence to that. And that will be my argument. And of course, if we will not lose, for sure. We will not lose. But if it is otherwise also, we follow due process and then challenge it at the court of law.
At the court of law.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, not,
Yes,
not the court of street.
Mr. Jallo, yes. Let me just add that there. Election results outcomes can be accepted or rejected by any political party. But I think what is very important for mention here is for the membership, the citizenry, to understand that there is a due process that can be followed other than vandalism.
Yes, I agree with you.
All right? Where it happens that a certain political party does not, for some reasons best known to them, there is a due process of law. Let that be followed. But the citizenry as a civilized society should go beyond that now to go into destroying what has already been achieved. I think the Gambia has enough opportunity to learn from the sub-region. The political instability, the upheavals, political upheavals here and there, you know, the wars. All these are excellent lessons for the Gambia to learn from and make us wiser. All right? So that is what I wanted to add.
Yes. Okay. Just a minute. We are opening the lines. You can call the lines 3690164. If you also want to call internationally, you can add there the country code, that is +220. Yes, you want to comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm glad you mentioned that CA, you know, paid a courtesy call to political parties. And, you know, even though that has happened, just once again, use your platform to thank the leadership of the GDC for accepting and receiving us when we sent, you know, the notice to them. But we are still yet to be invited or our invitation be accepted by your party leader. Instead, we were referred to go and meet Sidinjai. My party leader, Dr. Ismaila Sise, is the presidential candidate and party leader of the Citizens Alliance. And that call, it was to meet every political party leader. And I believe, I stand to be corrected, the party leader of the NPP is President Adama Barrow, not Sidinjai. So I want to also maybe give you a message, if you have a chance to meet your party leader, to say Citizens Alliance still looks forward to meeting you, because you are one of those that we've still not met. So because that is all preaching peace and advocating for peace. But if you're being selective justice here, you don't want to meet this, you don't want to meet that person, it does not really preach peace or advocate for peace. So I just thought I should just use this opportunity through you to tell you that we are still waiting. Anytime we will want to do that.
Thank you, my sister. To respond to that, I think if we are advocating for approaching politics as a matter of institutions, we must be careful with personality in politics. President Barrow is the leader of NPP, but the NPP is a whole social institute, a political institution, which could be represented by the leader or may be represented by the deputy national chairman or the national president. All right? I think what is important in this case is for NPP to accept the invitation or the desire of CA meeting with them. And whoever is to represent the NPP should be the prerogative of the NPP and not the CA.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. What happened is, I'm sure you will discuss that in the closed door, you know, and you will come to understand. But one thing that I believe is that social harmony is very important for our mutual coexistence. It is very important, if I will even suggest, that political parties, leaders, to be meeting on a periodic basis. That will send a symbolic message to their sympathizers that, look, at the front line there, your leaders are not divided. So make sure that you people do not subscribe to that politics of division. It will be very important. In fact, that is one reason why I bring various political party spokespersons to come here, because this is going to send a symbolic message to the people outside there. Look, if you are distancing yourself from NPP because you are CA, or you are distancing yourself from GDC because you are NPP, your PROs are sitting in one platform discussing and talking to you. So this is something that we also encourage as Peace Talk Show. But I'm sure, you know, from here, that is one thing also, you know, relationships are built, and as a result, I'm sure the spokespersons will form a spokesperson task force. Okay, coming to you, Honorable.
Yes,
NPP, do you have cordial relationship with other political parties?
Yes, we have cordial relationship with other political parties. In fact, as far as I know, there has not been any significant there has not been any problem significant for public attention with any political party. Although in a race, the closer people are, the greater the chances for them to touch. Yes. So, but then we are aware of the reality. In fact, out of records, would it have been possible that I suggest that we form what I would call a national association of political parties, and we make a single candidate of President Barrow in the elections.
Excuse you, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? I missed it. Did I hear you right?
That is just a joke. That is just a joke.
Okay.
Yes.
That's his wish.
That is your wish. That is your wish. You know, we're hoping and praying that the elections will be peaceful, and as a result, any candidate who actually is desired by Gambian people, who actually sufficiently satisfied the Gambian people, will be choosing to lead this country. We hope and pray that will happen. Time is not on our side, and do you have any?
Yes, I have. You want to say something in regards to the relationship between political
Okay.
I know, right? I want to comment on that too.
Especially when it comes to national issues, national development.
Okay.
And then I will just give you a very a good example of when the COVID started, the COVID-19 started in 2020. I think if you can remember fully, Honorable Kande suggests to His Excellency, President Barrow, to create that platform and bring all political party leaders and discuss about this pandemic and identify the issues and a way forward. But unfortunately, it was not there. And I think doing that also would have helped to at least not to eradicate it, but to minimize the damage it might cause in our society. Because since then, we are still struggling with it. And then I think, you never know, Citizen Alliance, GDC, or any other political party might have a very good idea in a way of dealing with this pandemic. But if you don't give them the chance or the opportunity, will you get that idea? I say no. And Honorable Kande has been advocating for this, and I think my uncle here will go with that message and make sure, as a presidency, let them also try to consider working with other political parties when it comes to national issues.
Closer interaction.
Exactly.
That is fine.
And that was the comment I wanted to make, because again, you know, there are certain things that happen in this country. We should all put our political lens aside. It's not partisan. It's a national issue. And I think the COVID-19 pandemic is a manifestation of such things that we all need to come together as citizens, as Gambians, and tackle it with oneness. And like he said, my party, through my party leader, we have really reached out to say we have solutions, we have ideas that we want to put forward. But we were not, you know, the reception was not, you know, I said there was no, they didn't accept the call or the invitation, so they were not receptive, let me put it that way. So again, we're still battling with COVID-19. And I also understand, I don't know how true I can authoritatively speak for my party and my party leader. I've also heard that other party leaders have really called on the president to say, I want to meet with you, I want to join you to do this, but then they were not really taken seriously, or they were not brought on board to fight it. And thus, we are still fighting it. So definitely, there are certain things that are national issues. Partisanship will continue, all have different parties. But then when it comes to things like that, forget about that and bring everything on board. At the end of the day, when we achieve the results, the credit goes to who? The leader. And who is the leader of this country is President Adama Barrow. So at the end of the day, everybody will give you their take, everybody will help you, everybody will bring their ideas, their resources, their competence, their talents, and everything else. But they say the president of the Gambia, which is no other person than you. So these are things that we really need to be more open-minded about and forget about partisanship, because these are facts. I mean, talk is cheap. We can sit here and talk about a lot of mangled English, but the facts remain the fact. Nobody can change it. And when we're talking, let's be really talk on facts, not what we're going to say to bring support or attract political point, but the realities which are there for everybody to see and judge.
Yes, in fact, in other countries, we have seen that, you know, when this issue came, you know, I heard some leaders saying, look, let's put politics aside, party politics aside, and let's see the nation. And I'm sure Gambia as a nation, it is not late, since we have a very vibrant person from NPP here. We have somebody also from CA here. You know, it is not late. We still have, you know, opportunity to learn from the previous shortcomings and forge a better way forward. So, you know, this is more or less about building a very strong and a vibrant cohesion for what? Our national good. So, our able spokesperson from NPP, do you have any comments to make before we wrap up?
Yes. To close the program, my remarks would be...
closing remark, I will like you to mention to NPP supporters that NPP is not different from other political parties, because NPP as an Somebody is calling. Hope it is not late.
Okay.
Hello. Yes. Good morning and welcome, or good afternoon. Welcome to the Peace Talk Show.
Thank Nene Gomez.
Yes. Who is that?
Nene Gomez.
Nene Gomez.
Yeah, I just want to contribute about this political arena.
Okay.
It is these people, they just looking after their interests.
Okay.
And the greatest mistake that we're going to do to give NPP and then GDC our this beloved country.
Okay.
So let us take CA and because they have vision.
Okay.
Because, let us give chance to the young people, especially because then they normally say that children are married and then youth are the people who can rule a nation to Gambia. Because
Okay.
obviously, if you think, look at the strategy of this nation, the Gambia.
Okay.
Because have you ever seen taking a white president who is very intellectual for a presidency? They will never do it. They will prefer taking somebody who is not that much dated because so that they can do their good things in government.
Okay.
So all these things are very good. So let us try, and it's high time for government to wake up and let us look for something that is our interest, but not let us not just because I'm still I need to do this party. Let us look for
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your message is clear. Thank you. It's almost time. We're sorry, we cannot continue receiving calls. It's time. That is his personal opinion. When you speak here, you speak based on your opinion. I will like you to send, because your message is going to serve as a symbolic message that NPP does not have any grudges or hatreds against any other political party. In fact, that is why today your party leadership allowed you to come here to manifest to the people outside that, look, there is no barrier between NPP and other political parties. That is why you sit on this very important platform to address a challenge, which is a national challenge. And when it is achieved as, a good, when it is achieved, the prospect is for entire Gambians. So, this is a message that needs to be sent, and, I will cut the message for you and send it to you so that you share to your NPP platforms. Let them know that we as Gambians cannot allow politics of partisans or partisan politics to divide us.
Politics of hate.
Good.
Thank you. I think you have said it all. I am encouraging every member of NPP to understand that politics is all about building relationship. And unless you are able to build relationship with somebody, hardly would you be able to convince him or her. So therefore, the fundamental basis of every political relationship is interaction. Two, it is only by that way that the NPP should be all out to increase its support base in terms of membership. Let us appreciate all other political parties and their members. Let us interact with them. Let us constantly sell the program of the NPP to the rest of the population. So then the development projects being implemented. And I'm happy to report, you are aware, I'm sure, that His Excellency President Adam Barrow, party leader and Secretary General of NPP, had been awarded by an international body for ranking 4th in Africa. Which is a great achievement.
Ranked for peace or?
Yes, they look at 4 development critical areas. 1 is economic stability, 2 is education, 3 is infrastructural development, and 4 is employment. Out of this, President Barrow had ranked the 4th in June. So this is a clear indication that there is a lot of appreciation internally and externally about what President Barrow is doing. And it is now our responsibility to sell this good message to every Gambian so that understanding is obtained, so that membership of NPP is increased to the maximum possible.
Thank you very much. That is the able spokesperson of NPP sending a very powerful message to the NPP sympathizers and affiliate. Our Madam Spokeswoman is here. She is ready to send a very powerful message to all the CA sympathizers.
Well, I am not only speaking to CA sympathizers because it's not only CA sympathizers or supporters that are going to vote for us. And when we become the next government in December, we are not only going to be a government for CA, we're going to be a government for Gambians. So my message is a message of peace to all Gambians, everybody that is watching us now and going to be watching us later. Citizens Alliance was formed on the ideals of democracy, civil liberties, economic prosperity, social justice, and social cohesion. And as such, we believe in advocating for peace in everything that we do. We believe in the potential of Gambians. We believe in the potential of our citizenry. As such, we are here to salvage on the undesirable state of our economy, of our country. Peace is the only thing that can bring about all that. But peace cannot emerge by itself. It has to come through people. And which kind of a people? The leaders, the leadership. And what kind of a leader are we looking at here that can bring about this peace that we're talking about? A sympathetic leader, a loving leader, a leader that cares for its people, that cares for the plights of its citizens, a leader that is empathetic, an influential leader, and of course with competence and integrity and honesty, who is trustworthy. That's the only kind of leader that can salvage this country, that can bring about peace. And who is that leader? I hereby sit here and tell you, it's no other person than Dr. Ismaila Ceesay.
Thank you very much.
Come December, choose right, choose wisely.
Thank you very much. And see, GDC also has their message for you. GDC,
yes,
as a political party, I'm so, because when you go out, this is a message that you are going to share to your various people. I'm sure others are watching, but this is a specific message that I will send to you to share to all GDC sympathizers and followers so that they hear what is coming from the higher authorities of GDC. So what message do you have for the GDC?
Thank you very much. I will not just stop at talking to GDC supporters, but I'll also use this opportunity and talk to other political party leaders.
Thank you.
Especially those in accessing the media and then using certain language that are not friendly. It's not good for our security, it's not good for our country, it's not good for the young people of this nation. And then I challenge them to see how best they can refrain from those type of language in the media. It's not helping us. And coming back to GDC supporters and GDC sympathizers, actually the message is clear. I mean, that's what GDC stand for. That's what GDC represent. Our party leader is a humble guy, and everybody knows that. Kande always preach peace, and he mentioned it not long ago, about 2 months ago, that advising other political party leaders, his colleagues, to mind their language and make sure that we maintain our peace, so that at least come December 4th or December 5th, when we go to State House, we will find it very easy to develop this country. And also, I also want to appeal to my uncle here to see how best they can also create that platform for a free, fair election for all political parties. Because they are the incumbents, we understand that, but at least we all have equal rights when it comes to election. And we want to make sure that that is maintained comes December 4th. The last thing that I will share with you is I want to thank my boss, that is my spokesperson, Honorable Umar Ceesay, for giving me this opportunity. But this is how GDC is. This represents a clear picture of GDC. We don't just say it, but we do it. I mean, we empower young people. We empower our women supporters. And that's when you go to at the decision-making level, you find a lot of young people like me who are given that opportunity, and they decide for themselves. We don't want to be represented. We want to represent ourselves. And I want other political parties to emulate that, so that at least you can see the power balance here. But if we are marginalized and then opportunities are not given to young people, definitely it's going to be very difficult for us to have
Thank you very much. We're running out of time.
Let me make a point of correction, Honorable. I don't think NPP has any influences over any parties. With the institution of the Independent Electoral Commission, all of us are subject to the same conditions, the same law.
Yes, exactly. And IEC is here, and they will be available. In fact,
but I think the utterances seems to say otherwise. I think that's where he's talking from.
Yeah,
You know, not a matter of having influence, but the
the
utterances and the action. But let's take that to another platform for another day.
Not the theories. I'm talking about the practice.
Exactly.
I will get the IEC chairman here, and also we will.
That is the right.
What happened is that
we've seen what happened in Nyamina.
it's okay. NPP as a political.
testimony of what I'm saying here.
Okay, we close it down. We close down the session, and we thank our audience. You know, as I always tell you, or as I told you, you know, once you have spokespersons, you have to be brave and bold. If not, you cannot handle it. And today, I'm surrounded by brave and a very eloquent speakers. So as a result, they cannot confuse me. I have to confuse them. In that regard, we thank our able viewerships for following us. This is the Peace Talk Show. This is the weekly show that is brought to you to discuss on issues surrounding our national peace and security. The reason why we have the political party spokespersons here is to tell the Gambian people that politics is not about life and death. Politics is about competition of ideas and change of ideas. So in that regard, your various political party leaders are here to communicate to you, to tell you that when you are engaging your colleagues who are in different political parties, try to make sure you talk to them in a manner that will not jeopardize the peace and tranquility of this country. In that regard, we thank you, and thanks to all for viewing, and a veteran governor, we thank you, and spokeswoman, I hope you will know, and honorable assistant PRO of GDC, we thank you very much, and our able technicians, we thank you very much, and see you next week. And next week, we have Professor Lumumba here, and don't miss it. Professor Lumumba is coming to engage and discuss with Gambians on a very important topic. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, let's take a picture and you send it to your people.